As on today, we are trying to basically concentrate on the Selenium tip. So, whenever we are trying to concentrate on the Selenium, Selenium is basically an open source tool. In the sense, anyone who wants to utilize the tool can download the tool and utilize it for free of cost. So, it means there is no cost involved in utilizing the Selenium tool. It supports web-based applications only. That means it is not possible to work with the desktop applications whenever you are using the Selenium tool. Coming to the Selenium, Selenium is not a single tool as we have the other tools like as WinRunner or QTP or UFT, whatever the tools that you have. All those tools are only single tools. But the Selenium is not a single tool. It comes as a set of tools. Like as it basically consists of IDE, RC, WebDriver and Selenium Grid. We will discuss more on these particular tools in a later on point of time. So each particular tool will be performing a specific task. Unlike as other tools will be having all the functionalities in the same tool. However, the Selenium will be having whenever you want to use a specific functionality, we will use the specific tool for performing the specific functionality on this Selenium. So as it's an open source tool, it is under continuous development. It is under continuous development, and we'll be getting the updated versions very often. So earlier when the Selenium tool had got started, it had got started with the IDE version, and then it has got with the it has been upgraded to RC, and then it has been upgraded to WebDriver. Now the RC and the WebDriver has got merged, and we have got the version called as Selenium 2, which is nothing but the Selenium RC and the WebDriver together will be called as Selenium 2. And we have additionally the Selenium Grid. So what this IDE does, what does this RC does, what does this WebDriver will be doing, what does the grid will be doing, we'll be seeing all these things in a later on point of time, when we go on with the next level of concepts. Selenium QA Engineer focuses more than one tool. Whenever learning all the tools relating to the Selenium gives more knowledge, or we can perform different operations by using different tools. We can resolve different kinds of automation problems that are coming up. So that's how this tool basically works. So whenever we know different kinds of tools, it will be giving you different kinds of approaches for performing different kinds of operations. It supports Java, C#, Perl, Python, Ruby and PHP languages. Most of the companies use Java language. So it is most of the companies will be preferring the Java languages only. Whenever we mean by it supports Java, C#, Ruby, Python, etc., it is not that unlike as the other tools, it has to work on only one particular technology. If you know any of these particular technologies, you can write the scripting on the specific technology also. So that is the advantage thing that we have with the Selenium part. But the reason why we are using Java only, the reason we will be using the reason we will be using the Java language is any of the organizations, the people will be having Java developers. So whenever you get stuck up at any point of time, your Java helpers will be able to help you. That is the reason we mostly will be having the Java language. So that is the reason most of the companies will be using the Java language. Coming to the next slide. Right. Selenium tool is mainly used for functional and regression testing only. So as discussed earlier, it is basically a open source tool. Coming to the history of Java, coming to the history of Selenium, Selenium had got started in the year 2004. The engineer at ThoughtWorks named Jason Huggins, when he was testing an internal application, he developed a JavaScript library which could drive the interactions with the page, allowing him to automatically rerun tests against multiple browsers. In 2006, an engineer at Google named Simon Stewart started working on the project. He called it as WebDriver, and in the year 2008, they have merged these two projects together, and they have named it as Selenium 2. So the Selenium RC is still being developed, but only it will be used for only maintenance purpose only. Coming to the Selenium licensing. Whenever we mean by Selenium licensing comes under the Apache 2.0. Anyone can download it for free of cost and utilize it, anyone can download it and utilize it for free of cost. Even if you are capable of doing the modifications on the code level, you can do the modifications on the code level and utilize it as well as distribute it. But you are not supposed to sell it for money. So that is the limitation that they have with the licensing. Coming to the Selenium, Selenium is basically a platform independent tool. That means you can run the Selenium on different platforms. Like as you can run the Selenium on Windows platform, on the Linux, Unix, you can run it on Macintosh, you can run it on different platforms as well. Coming to the browsers, we can run on Mozilla, Internet Explorer, we can run on Chrome, Safari, Opera, etc. As seen earlier, we can operate with any of the scripting languages like as Java, C#, Python, Ruby, Perl, etc. Coming to the next part, that is we are trying to concentrate on the IDE part. Whenever we are trying to concentrate on the IDE part, IDE basically stands for Integrated Development Environment. So whenever you want to use the IDE, so you will be basically going for the, you should have your Mozilla Firefox installed on your machine. Once your Mozilla Firefox is installed on your machine, you need to basically go for seleniumhq.org, which is the official website of Selenium. So once you have gone here, you click on download part, go on to the IDE, search for IDE. So whenever you have found the IDE, click on from addons.mozilla.org. Here like you'll get an add-on here. Click on add to Firefox. Whenever you have added it to Firefox, like your Mozilla Firefox will ask you for a restart. So just restart the browser. So once you restarted the browser, you will be having the Selenium IDE either here or you will be having it under the tools Selenium IDE menu. Whatever the operations that you are trying to perform on the Selenium IDE, each and every operation will get recorded on the Selenium Selenium IDE. That is, like if I am trying to perform an operation by using onlinesbi.com, which is a generic website like which has been developed by someone else, I can perform the operations on this particular tool by clicking on different operations. Whatever the operations that I'm performing on this particular tool, each and every operation will get recorded by my Selenium IDE. So I'm trying to perform like I'm trying to open an online account by moving on to the online account form. So I'm clicking on public. I'm entering the data such as Prasad, like as the middle name, and the last name, and then I'm trying to enter the father name, say and I'm trying to enter the whatever the data that I have entered, that would be sufficient for now. So like what I will try to do is I will stop the recording by clicking on this red color icon. whenever I perform the same operation, whenever I click on run here or play here, it will be performing whatever the operations that I have done. The same operations will be repeated back by my browser. So this is how I can perform the operations on my Selenium IDE. The Selenium IDE has a limitation, that is, it can only run the test cases for one time. In the sense, like if you want to iterate the test cases, if you want to do a retesting, or if you wanted to go for testing multiple sets of data, it is not possible to perform the retesting on the Selenium IDE. So the limitation is you can pass only one set of test data onto the Selenium IDE. And the other thing is, it is limited to the Mozilla Firefox only. So these are some of the disadvantages that the IDEs have. In order to overcome these sort of disadvantages, they have introduced the Selenium RC. So Selenium RC, like it was supported by only one particular browser. So to support multiple browsers, like then they have introduced the WebDriver. So like this, there are some sort of advanced functionalities as we go on into the WebDriver. So not only this, by using the Selenium IDE, we will be able to also convert, or if you want to save a test case, you can save the test case just like this, which will be saved on the specific location wherever you have given the location. So it has got saved like this. If you click on this, like it will be showing you the format in the HTML format. However, like whenever you come back to the IDE, like you will be able to see the table as well as source also. The source part basically shows you the complete operations in the HTML language, whereas the table part shows you the complete things in the command, target, and the value. Command shows you what is the command that you're trying to what is the command that you're trying to operate. Target is a value on whichever the value you are targeting. Value is a value on whatever the value that you are trying to enter into that particular application is called as a value. So like we'll be able to see the scripts both in the HTML view or in the command view. Whatever the commands that you're typing over here will be visible to you, or what that particular command performs will be specified in the references over here. So these are the various options that we have with the IDE. And the other part that we have with the IDE is you can export the test case as whenever you want to export the test case into a different format, you can export the test case in a different format from this particular location to a different location. Like that is, if you want to convert it into a WebDriver, you can just click on the WebDriver part and you can give a specific name to this. So like I'm just giving the name as web, which stands for WebDriver. So whenever I open up my desktop, like you'll be able to see, like I have saved my test over here. So like if I click on edit with Notepad++, it will be basically showing you how it has converted the scripting into the WebDriver. However, it will be able to convert up to a specific level. It will not be completing the complete task. It will be performing the task up to a specific level. So we can't rely on this kind of converted formats. However, whenever an object is not identifiable, or whenever a specific web element is not identifiable when you are working with the RC or the WebDriver, you can take the help of the IDE to identify the specific web elements. So that is how we'll be using the web IDE part. So in the next classes, like we are trying to concentrate on the Selenium RC, WebDriver. We are trying to concentrate on Selenium Grid. We are trying to concentrate on JUnit framework, SNZ, data driven. We are trying to concentrate on keyboard driven frameworks. We are trying to concentrate on all these functionalities. So this is how we'll be going, right? Right? So we'll be ending up the session at this point of time. So thank you for attending the sessions with us.